project manager with practical experience managing projects in more than 15 countries and across 2 continents. He is also the CEO of PMP Hub, a project management learning institute. He's currently working as senior manager, projects PMO in a consumer products goods company based in North America. He's responsible for full deployment of multi-million-dollar growth and enterprise projects. He is one of the pioneer Nigerian members of Nova Talent. Nova Talent, a global, by invitation only top talent network that connects high potential individuals amongst themselves with the best professional opportunities. He is currently, alongside all of this, taking an MBA from the University of East London. He's happily married to his beautiful friend of many years, Kate, and they have an adorable son, Nathan. With a resounding virtual emoji applause, let's make welcome Mr. Adebayo Ajayi. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
So we'll be getting started. We just want to start with a very semi-formal, informal question. So can you please tell us 2 random or interesting things about you that most people do not know?
Okay, I think most people know this, but let me try. I love Arsenal so much. I love Arsenal Football Club. I love Arsenal, and I don't know, I just love Arsenal so much. So, and the second thing is that I'm family oriented. So, before I make any decision, I always think about my family. Every single moment I'm away from home, I'm like, I can't wait to get back home. So yes, those are the 2 things. One, I love Arsenal so much. Second thing is I'm family oriented. Like, yeah.
He's extremely passionate about Arsenal. You can tell. Being an Arsenal fan is not for the faint of heart. I am a fake Arsenal fan. All I do is watch, is follow scores, look at the table, and admire their new jerseys. That's all I do. I'm not sure I even know up to 5 players right now. That's really interesting. Thank you so much for sharing. So we're going to our first question now. So your journey towards discovering and embodying excellence, and what it means. It shows up and how it shows up in your personal life and your professional life as well. You know, it began 10, 13 or more years ago. So I'm probably going to guess this is somewhere in 2008, 2010, perhaps when you were concluding secondary school or just about to begin university, you know, and then you were like becoming a full-blown adult. You decided to take responsibility for your life. So I would like to ask you, how and why did you get started on this journey?
Okay, interesting question. And I like the fact that every single time I'm being asked this question, I remember someone that was first my role model, my first mentor, and he has made a tremendous impact in my life, and that's my dad. It all started by this. When I was in primary school, I was very notorious. I was a bully. I was not doing well academically. I was just there. And there's my dad, of course, very good. Before he left his school, he got a job with NNPC. Like, it was just good. And every single time I get back home after every term, my dad would be like, "Oh, what did you score?" I had 40, something about 70. We're like, "Oh, why can't you do better than this? What's the problem?" And every single time there's that encouragement. And one of the things he did was always using a bit for me. We say, "Okay, you know what? If you come first to third, I'm going to buy you a game." And that was it for me. And I remember there was a time that I think I was the highest in the class, someone I was always in the middle of the class, and I came first. And I said to my dad that, "Oh, Dad, I had 65 over 70, I was very happy and proud of myself, and I was the highest." And he said something to me, and that changed the course of my life. He was like, "Why can't you get 70-70? And I said to my dad, "Dad, I was the first in this subject. You know what it means to be first?" He was like, "No, I've trained you not just to be the first. I've trained you to be the better version of yourself every single time." So the fact that your teacher then could set 70 questions, means that it's possible to get 70-70. So it means that the fact that I was the first, but not getting the full mark, shows that he wanted me to just be better, not just about the competition. And that changed every single aspect of my life. And my dad basically propelled me forward. That when I was in university, my first semester result 100 level engineering, I had 4.95 out of 5.0 CGPA.
Wow.
GPA then, of course, first semester GPA is your CGPA. And I called my dad. I called my brother in Bowen. I'm like, "Bros, I had 4.95. He called all his roommates. This guy 4.95, blah, blah, blah." Then I called my dad almost
What's
immediately,
that?
and my dad was like, "Oh yeah, congratulations! But guess what? This is just first semester. You have 9 more semesters to go." And I'm like, "Baba, I had 4.95. Like you should, well, like, this is just the beginning. It's just like secondary school, and it means that there is a better level, and that takes me to the definition of excellence. For me, excellence is a progressive realization of a worthy goal. It means that you can keep getting better. There's a Japanese word which is called kaizen, which means to improve. So excellence for me is not perfection. No, none of us can be perfect. And as believers, when we see Jesus, of course, we are hearing that perfection, of course. But it's not just, we don't want you to be a perfect person, but we want you to keep getting better. And that's what I've always called excellence. So excellence is that progressive realization of a goal that is worthy that you want to pursue. That is what excellence is. And so, yes, that's my background about excellence. My dad was my strong force in being excellent, and he changed every single thing about me.
Yeah. Amazing. It reminds me of something. It is so profound because it started from your dad challenging you, and you owned the journey along the way. I remember even when I was in my first year, my dad used to say, "You're not competing with anybody, you're competing with 100%.
Absolutely.
So that, our parents are, they set us in the right direction. Thank you for that. So the next question, it's very similar to, we've already covered that. And one of the questions that came in from the registrants was asking what excellence means to you, which you have already defined. Said it's a progressive realization of a worthy goal. And continually striving for perfection. So the person asks, the second part of that question is, how do you incorporate it in your daily life?
Okay, and I think that's a very good question because it's so important not just to know what excellence is. You have to know there's this quote that says the secret of great men is actually in their story. And I think excellence for me is more with me in my daily life. And I'm going to explain what I do in my daily life. Number one, I have never set out to achieve anything in my life without a goal. And I'm honest about that. Like a goal, and in goal setting, I've been teaching that for I think about 5-6 years now. I used to say that there are 3 umbrellas for goal setting. The first one is the sector. So what I mean by the sector, talking about the wheels of life. The wheels of life, we have financial, we have relationship, we have career, we have marriage, we even have social, we like the wheels of life. So what sector do you want to work on? Every year, goal setting is a must. And I've always said to people that if you go into any year without having a concrete goal for that year, you are a joker. And I'm saying you're a joker not to mock you, but to let you know that you're only joking around, and anything that comes your way is just a luck. So that's the first thing. What sector do you want to set your goal? So people like money. So let me talk about finance, for example. That's the first thing you want to set your goal on, finance. That's the first thing. Now, the second thing is, what exactly is the objective you want to achieve in that sector? So finance, for example, probably last year you saved 5 million, and your goal this year is that you want to save 10 million. Look at that. Even from your goal, you can see excellence already. You are seeing a progressive relation of the worthy goal. So, and that's the second thing. And the third thing is, what are the systems, what are the structures that you want to use to get to that 10 million? I've tried as much as possible to explain what excellence is in a pragmatic way. So it starts with, what sector do you want? Your area, your wheels, the wheels of life. What do you want to work on this year? Ideally, you should work on most every year, of course, because a man is a total system. The second thing is, what is the objective you want to get in each of these systems? And it's as simple as, when things are not working, you have to actually understand what is not working before you actually solve the problem. And that's why it's only called root cause analysis. So the second thing is, you've done that area, the sector you want to set your goal on, finance, career, and all. What are the objectives you want to achieve in the moment? And the third thing, what are the systems? And now going back to the systems, I didn't want to answer that question by jumping and telling you the systems of what I do. I want to tell you that building block, because if I tell you now that, every year I set a target, I want to make more money, and I'm talking about, okay, I have to think about, okay, how can I revamp what I do? What are my stores? What the career goals and everything? So it really depends. Let me give you a very practical example. One of my goals this year is in terms of my career is that I want to increase visibility as a thought leader in project management field. That's my goal. In that career, like I want to increase my visibility as a project manager in that career. And I was just thinking, and my wife just opened and said, you know what, I think you are really good at what you do in terms of project management. Start writing content. And I started writing content on LinkedIn. I post, I think, twice a week. Now it's now once a week. And I started getting a lot of opportunities. Like, people started reaching out. And from there, I got consulting gigs, even in the UK. In the UK, I'm currently a consultant for one of the top training consulting in terms of agile project management. I do that for them. The second thing is that individuals, I consult for individuals, people who have project management interviews and all those stuff. I even do that. And the third part is that recently I even just got a lecturing opportunity as an adjunct professor to lecture in terms of project management in one of the colleges in Canada. So what am I saying? The systems will automatically come when you have the objective, because the systems are not systems that you can just, let me do this. Okay, you want to do to what end? And that's why one of the greatest books, I call it my best book so far, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. One of the habits is having the end in mind. Any individual that has the end in mind has gone 50% of the journey. Because once you have the end in mind, the systems and the structure to attain what you want will come. Because you start brainstorming, you start thinking, you start asking questions. Just like my wife assisted me to tell me, no, Bayo, I think you thought leader in prayer management, start writing art content. And just listening to that alone, it blew me up. Another thing is so let me stop there. So yes, the structures will come, and once you have the sector you want to work on, once you have what you want to achieve, you ask people questions. When you ask someone question, you can even get light to everything you are thinking of, and that light can change your generation, forever. So that's it. Yeah. Before the system, what do you want to achieve? What do you want? And that's why Masmiro said, he said, without purpose, abuse is inevitable. Yeah,
that's true. So 2 very important things that you talked about. In the question was, how do you incorporate it in your daily life? And the first, you said, don't start anything without a clear goal or objective. Absolutely. And the second, be open to people's contributions, because sometimes you feel like, I figured it all out, I've done my research, and sometimes just a little adjustment, or a little suggestion from someone will make all the difference, So I'm pretty sure when you were thinking about being a top project manager, you were thinking about, studying, you were thinking mostly in your own space, but not really putting out, and then your wife made that suggestion. Amazing. So another question that came in from one of the people who registered, they asked, having defined excellence for yourself, what the concept of excellence means to you, how were you able to develop a mindset and those values and strive for excellence in other aspects of your life? Okay. So the person is looking at the exact mindset. You mentioned Kaizen, which is like continuous improvement, right? So what other mindsets did you adopt?
Okay, so I'm going to answer that question. I like the mindset question because everything starts within before without. And the first thing for me is that I've seen people that they are very rich, but they lack character. I've seen people that have as in their character is top notch, but they cannot manage relationship. I've seen people that can manage relationship, but academically they are not doing well. I've seen people that can manage that are good in terms of career, but they cannot keep money. And when I looked at every of those people that have one good thing, another bad thing, the reality of life is that what exposes you is your weakness. And that's why the strength of any chain is the weakest link. And I told myself that, in order to be an excellent person, you can't but have an area that you are inadequate. And that's why it's very, very easy for me. When I plan my whole year, and I do it every single year, I start with the wheels of life. I say, okay, on this sector, what do I want to do? For example, I realized that another example, like in marriage, for example, like our marriage was becoming really monotonous. We say ourselves every day is fine, and my wife and I just incorporated. We just said, you know what? Every week we go out for a lunch date. Like you're not going to do it in the evening because there's no way to put our toddler, but we said, okay, rather than going for a dinner like every week, let's make it a lunch date. And that was it. During that lunch date, we talk, okay, how was our week been? Just to boost up marriage. And everything boils down to planning. So that's why it's very easy for you to expand you becoming better to every aspect of your life. If you know that if you become better in 3 areas and the other parts are lacking, you are as well miserable. So, and that's why it's very, very important that you plan adequately every aspect of your life, be it finances. Last month I started as my social enterprise, Solex with International. We started training people on some people wanted a mentorship series and all. And I said, no, I've always been teaching capacity building, how to increase brain power and all. I said, this year I want to focus on finances. And I wanted to train, like, I want to understand someone that wants to increase in finance. And one of my mentees said to me that, how come you know so much about finances? And it's very simple. Because every year when I plan about finances, there are systems and strategy I want you to know, whether it's investing, is having new business, is saving, is real estate. Like, I've engulfed some of those things that have become it. So, and that's why if you see me teaching about finances, and I'm telling you what I've practicalized in my own personal life, you will think I'm a financial expert. Someone sent an article. I saw every morning I read three things. Every morning I read three things. So I read my Bible, my devotional. The second thing is that I read, I'm in Canada, so there's this thing called PEAK. PEAK talks about economic systems in North America, Canada, US. I read it. And the third thing I read is political systems. Political systems both in North America and of course in Nigeria, and the economies as well in Nigeria. So that morning I was reading what financial expert sent in Nigeria. Like, the person sent it and I was reading it and I laughed and I'm like, a lot of people will fall for this trap. And the content of that message was talking about Nigerian government, they are selling bonds now. They want people to buy bonds, and you invest in 2 years, you get about 11% return when you invest in bonds. I laughed. I'm like, every single person that wants to listen to me, this is something that you should never do with your money. Because Nigerian inflation rate as at now is about 21.5%. And you want people to invest in bonds that will give you 11% in 2 years. That is a wrong way of putting money. Now, how do I know? I have learned about finances.
Yes.
When I came to Canada, I registered in a course called McGill. It's a university. They did these free courses called on personal finance, because I want to know how money works in North America. I wanted to know how money works, and I took that course. Like, I got the certificate, almost about 7 different components, and I'm about 18 months in Canada. And in terms of financial system in this country, I can say I'm very grounded. So if you want to be excellent in every other area of your life, know that every area of the life of will is very important. You need to know that first of all. And after you know that, you need to have an objective. What do I want to do? Then put plans in place, and that's how you can be. But the most important thing is that every aspect of life is extremely important. Think about a man that is very good in the office, is a director, but in terms of in his home, is sad in his home. That person can never be productive.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. So many profound things all in one. In fact, you didn't just answer that question. I'm pretty sure you have answered a lot of the other questions we intended to deal with. Thank you so much. So the next question is in 2 parts. And after this, the next voice, you hear the Moyo's voice asking the remaining questions for this session. So our next question, from excelling in school, to becoming a rock solid professional, can you tell us, of all the things that you've learned over the years, what are the top 3 that have helped you on this journey? That transition, there's a sharp transition between school and practice. And then the second part of that question is, how have you maintained your track record until now?
Okay, so number one, and I'm saying this not because I feel like we're in a Christian gathering. I'll be very honest. Number one, I'm an ambassador for Christ. And when I say ambassador for Christ, I mean it. When I was, some people probably those that will listen to this recording, or those that are on YouTube, I probably heard me say this before. When I attended Covenant University, all the level 4 semester, I went in front of the altar. I said to God, Lord, I'm in chemical engineering. I don't want any unbeliever to lead me in this department. I said, unbelievers can become first, I can become second, or even if I'm in 11th position, top 10 must be Christian. But as far as I am a Christian in this department, no unbeliever must lead me in class. Now, that mindset, I took it out of the workplace. I'm like, if anybody is getting awarded, if anybody is getting promoted, it must be a Christian. And because I'm a Christian, I know that it's not just about praying, it's about walking the talk. And that mindset shaped me in everything I do. I'm like, I cannot afford to be a mediocre because I'm a Christian. Because, the Bible says in Psalm 92 verse 12 that the righteous shall flourish like a palm tree and shall grow like cedar in Lebanon. So it means that our heritage as a believer, first of all, is at the top. I like that scripture. Verse 13 says that the unbelievers will also flourish like weed. And you know what weeds are? Weeds are unwanted plants growing in unwanted area that they can die anytime. So it means that my heritage, first of all, God has pushed me to be the top. How will now I want to come down? I won't want to come down. So that mindset That's the first thing. That's spiritual mindset, because as a believer, I must be the best in every single thing I do. That's the first mindset. And the second mindset is that if you want to, the second mindset that also helped me is consistency. There's such a good power in consistency that, consistency increases focal points. And because I just want to be consistent. I don't want to be, this guy was good in class. When in his first 2 years in the office, he was good, but now he's no longer good. That's the second part for me, consistency. And the third thing that has always propelled me to do good in everything I've done is planning. Like, I can plan a budget of a whole country. Like, I plan a lot, and it has really helped me. I ask myself, like, every year, okay, what next do I want to do? I started my MBA this year, and I'm like, this MBA, it's going to be tough. I'm doing a lot of other things. I'm like, I need that MBA, because for me to reach a particular point I need to reach in my career, I just need that MBA. Now, I was able to brainstorm and think about this because in my planning room, I've seen that this is the next tool I require for my next level. So these are the three things. First one is spirituality. The second thing is consistency. See, a consistent man will always increase the focal point. And the third one is planning. Like, with planning, I'm able to plan the next level every single time. And that's why my tomorrow will always be better than my today. I'm speaking into the future. I'm speaking with faith. I'm speaking with authority as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So spirituality, consistency, and planning. And have you maintained these three things and other things? Have you maintained it until now? Your spirituality, have you maintained it? Consistency, have you been able to maintain it? Yeah.
Very good question. And what you ask, someone can say, for example, spirituality, why should you not maintain it? But I can tell you for sure that it's very important for someone to lose, and the first thing I'm going to say is structure. Like, we need to build good structures. So, for example, when I came to Canada, and the first thing I asked was, I need a fellowship. I need a council of believers that, in short, if maybe during the week I've not really been good, or I've not really been intimate with God, I need that week. I don't want Sundays things. Yes, Sunday we all go to church is the norm. Even those that don't really love God still go to church on Sunday. But I want that thing. And I called one or two guys. Every Wednesday, we're about 15 now. Every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Canada time, we pray on Wednesdays. Like, someone shares the word and someone pray, like a fellowship. That's the one. The second thing is, in the morning, I cannot stand up from the bed without reading my Bible. I can't. I do daily Bible reading for the year. At the moment, I'm currently in Jeremiah 32. So, like, from Genesis. So I've moved from Genesis. We are now in Jeremiah. So I do Bible reading every year. And I have like 3 devotions, three devotionals that I use every morning. And at the moment, my family, we pray in the morning, we pray in the evening. So I put those structures in place so that, for example, if I miss prayer on Monday, prayer on Tuesday, Wednesday is there. Sure, my family, we are there to pray as well. Sunday is there as well. We go to church. So that's the structure. And in terms of consistency, what helps me in terms of consistency for me is that I always ask myself, what next? For every single achievement I get, what next? Let me give a very simple example. I think it was this week, right? Was it this week or last? I got a contract role as a professor in a college in Canada to teach prayer management. Now, a lot of people are still celebrating me and all. Guess what? I'm really looking for the next college to teach as a professor. I can tell you for sure. Another example, my family and I, we got a property in Canada, and we are still in the process of moving into the house and all in the next few days. And I'm telling them that, we're buying the next property, this is where we're buying the property, this is the city and all, next thing. So once I get results, I don't sleep on it. What next? And it helps me. It helps me build consistency and planning. Planning is very easy because I don't jump on things. What do I need to get there? I build a ladder to get there. So yes, that's how I've been able to build my spirituality, my consistency, and planning. So ask yourself what next. Yes, celebrate results. I celebrate results well, but ask yourself what next after every achievement. Very important.
Thank you very much, sir. And congratulations on your new position as a professor, and congratulations on all your achievements. Now, the next set of questions we got were from viewers, and they're about discipline and maintaining excellence as a lifestyle. So this question goes like this, sent in by a viewer. I know that a large part of living a lifestyle of excellence involves discipline. Can you explain practical ways one can imbibe discipline in their daily living, particularly in the context of personal finance?
Okay, good. Thank you for that question. And I like that question on discipline because I love this George Washington quote. He says, discipline is the soul of an army. It makes small number formidable. It procures strength to the weak. Powerful quote. Without discipline, if you get results, you will lose on that achievement. But with discipline, you can only get better. Now, how do you incorporate discipline to personal finance? That's the question. Now, what systems and strategy do you have to help your finance? For example, my wife and I have a working document on Google Sheets. It's called personal finance template. We have 3. We have one, we manage the whole house. In the whole house, what is called, you call it a budget template. So everything we buy in the house and we both track both expense. So this is August. We've planned for September already on that template, and it's on Google Sheet. So if I walk into a store and I buy something, I can update on that template. So like it's a working template. So we also have 2 individuals, one for me, one for our personal. So like we plan before we, so even we're in August, we have planned for what we want to spend in September. So September cannot come and you tell me, oh, go and buy iPhone 15. It cannot happen because I've not planned it. And that document is a working document. That's why it's on Google Sheets. So we open the Google Sheet app, we update anything we buy. And that's how you can, that's the first thing to do. If you want discipline in terms of your finances, you need to have a budget. And budget is not just saying, oh, I want to spend 10,000. That's not budget. Budget is, I want to spend 10,000, 2,000 for housing, 500 naira for electricity, $200 for meat, $300 for tomato, like $500 for miscellaneous. And ensure you put contingency planning in contingency plans your miscellaneous in your, so that every time you don't run to your savings because you've not put miscellaneous in your savings. So have that. You cannot effectively be a good financial person if you don't have a working template for your budget and your expenses. It's very simple. Expenses, actual, 3 columns, income, expenses, then actual, budgeted. That's the first thing. Number 2, have I call it the psychology of money. What is psychology of money? Let me tell you what psychology of money. You remember economics, right? Economics define economics as a social science. We studied human relationship as a relationship between ends and scarce means, which have alternative uses. And I remember one of the concepts of economics is scarcity. So get this, money can never be enough. That's the first psychology of money. So the moment you are thinking, oh, money is not enough, money can never be enough. And that's why you don't, Bishop David Oyedepo will say, you don't grow well to manage well. Sorry, don't grow big to manage well. You manage well to grow big. So if you're having 5,000, what you're doing with that 5,000 is exactly what you will do with 5 million. So you need to be financially disciplined in your mindset. So you need to understand that having that psychology of money helps you already to put money in context. You know, okay, number 1, money can never be enough. So I need to manage what I have to grow. And number 2, the other psychology of money is that if you don't plant money, money will not grow. That's why I've said that though you can be rich with what you earn, but you can be rich with what you earn, but you can never be wealthy with what you earn, because what you earn is what you earn before your expenses. When you are saying you are wealthy with what you have left when you subtract your expenses from your income. So you need to understand that you need to plant money. What is planting money? Investing, saving, big dynamic of things you can do with money. And these are very simple ways. And that's why when I look at financial experts, I'm like, financial experts, they don't really know like how much of value they have, because other people don't have such values. You get my point? So that's actually how to be disciplined out of finances. Number 1, have a good mindset about money. Think about the concept of money as money can never be enough. That's the normal thing. You need to plant money to be able to be wealthy. And number 3, have a working document, have a working template that manages your budget, so that when your salary comes, don't say, what will I do with this salary? You have the money you have not received in September. I've planned how I want to spend already. And how I want to spend, of course, invest, save, and all those stuff. If you're giving your money to chance, your savings is also to chance. So you have to be strategic about that.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a working template. I'll just add this question. So as someone just dropped, I'll just add it. He said, what if after following these steps and you don't get, what if after following these steps, you don't get the expected results? What do you do?
Okay. There's something that we have no control over. There's this guy, I think it was Anthony Robbins. He said, 90% of what we worry about, we cannot control it. And 10% of the other things that we worry about, we cannot do anything about it. No, sorry. The first 10% is we can't control it. And the 10% is that worry about is that it might not even happen. So there's something called a reactor. Sorry, I'm a chemical engineer by training. So a reactor it has an input. A reactor is some chemical reaction happen inside. There's an output. What you have control over, I'll tell you there are two things that I have control over. Number one is your input, your hard work, your effort, your tenacity. Now, in every reaction, there's something called a catalyst. I'm sorry that I'm too technical, but in catalyst in science, catalysts are organic substance which can speed up or slow down the rate of reaction without themselves changing in the course of that reaction. So, for example, Holy Spirit is a catalyst. Holy Spirit can change and do things, and it does not change. You see Holy Spirit tomorrow. Now, even you don't have control over the reaction, you have control over the catalyst, and that's the Holy Spirit that you and I have. So in terms of input, you and I have our hard work, our tenacity, our planning, our consistency, our praying and all. Then we have the catalyst as well, which is the Holy Spirit. Now, whatever the output result, think about it. You've worked very hard. You know the Holy Spirit helped you, and you did not get that job. Does that mean that you don't pray for the job? Of course not. Does that mean you don't have the Holy Spirit within you? Of course not, because Jesus said he's going to give us a comforter, and Jesus cannot lie. So it means that even though I did not get the job, my input was consistent. My catalyst was also consistent. It means that I should try again. Let me share a very big story with you. Because my role model, Dr. Samadiyemi, used to say that principles work, but principles with examples work better. So let me share this example with you. I wrote my first PMP in 2019, PMP exam, project management professional exam. I failed. In short, I only passed one of the ratings out of the other 10. I failed the exam. And of course, I'm someone that I'm used to succeeding. So I was very upset. I was extremely upset with failure. And I said to myself that, I failed this PMP, but I give myself 3 months. I'm not only going to pass this PMP, I'm going to pass this PMP above target. So I gave myself timeline, and of course, and that's the best way to actually motivate and beat yourself. You beat success. When you fail, you say, this result I must get you. So I passed PMP exam. After passing PMP exam, I was still not, of course I passed. I was still not excited about just passing the exam. I was still furious. I'm like, I'm not done with PMP. So I called some guys together. I said, you know what? If you want to write PMP exam, come, let me coach you. So the first set of people that came in for coaching, I coached 90% of them for free. Those that wrote the exam passed the PMP exam, and that was it. And I started a learning institute called PMP Hub, where we help people pass the exam. As at now, we have trained close to 300 students for project management exams. Year 2023, every single person that has written project management professional exam has passed PMP exam. Not just passed the exam, they've gotten above target in the 3 domains this year alone. So look at how, and as of February, I was sharing to someone that I was in a conference and I was telling them that in February, in terms of the organization, income is over 2 million as of February. Now, not just that people have passed the exam, look at how failing PMP has helped me build an empire of an organization, financial wise as well, has boosted my financial income. And number 3, has also helped other people succeed, which is also very important, living a life of impact. And that's what you do with success. That's what you do with failure. When failure comes at you, you hold that failure and look failure in that eye and say, failure, I'm going to go over you. I'm going to beat you. And in short, when you see me, you run away. And that's why I always tell myself that when failure sees me and I fail at any task, I overwhelm that failure. So that failure will run away from me. So yes, like I was saying, when your input and reaction and catalyst is there and the output is not so, go back again and show failure that you can defeat failure. See, if you have not failed in life, you will not experience the next level. And I'm honest with you, because if I passed that PMP exam, probably I won't have started PMP up and all. When failure comes, do better and reignite yourself and do better at it. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Lovely examples. And as a coach, is there a common thread when you initiate your engagement with your clients? Is there almost the very same starting point or foundational beginning to the process every single time?
Yes, absolutely. One of the things that people start the coaching session with me with confusion state. So when they come and say, oh, this is not working, it's not working, it's not working. So one of the things I do is very simple. When people tell me exactly what their heart desire is, like, okay, this is not working and all, I listen to what they are saying and I pick one thing that they are doing well and I start with that. it's very good to start with known to unknowns, because you can say everything is not working, everything is not working. The fact that you identify that everything is not working, you are 50% ahead already. In that same book I mentioned by 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Stephen Covey said that the fact that you know that you desire a next level, it means that you are 50% already into the journey. A lot of people are living in a confused state, and they don't even know they're living in a confused state. And I call that unconscious, incompetent state. So the fact that things are not working well, and you know that you need help, that's a good point, because it means that you want to get your life back to the track. So yes, that's basically the trait. People start with the confusion, and I try to look at what is working, and I start with that.
Thank you very much, sir. And what would you say are the most common hindrances or inhibitors to people getting started on this journey towards personal excellence? What is the most common one?
Self-doubt. A lot of people doubt themselves. And when I say self-doubt, I'll tell you 2 things that I feel like people affect people. The one is self-doubt. People think they cannot do it. And it's not wrong to feel that way, but it's wrong to stay that way. And let me change the word self-doubt to imposter syndrome. I'm not good enough. I cannot do it. I don't have the capacity to do it. I'm not there enough. All of us, including me, we go through imposter syndrome. But I'll tell you one cheap way to ensure that you leave that imposter syndrome level is think about the good thing you've done in the past. One thing, I need to motivate yourself. Tell yourself that for me to do this, I can do this again. And that's one thing. People think, I'm not good enough. I cannot do it. I cannot be consistent. Me being consistent. I don't have the capacity to be consistent. That's that. First of all, self-doubt. Number 2 is mediocrity. And I feel like mediocrity is even a bit better than self-doubt. People are comfortable with ordinary things. I'm not comfortable with ordinary things. I'm not comfortable with ordinary things. People, they eat small and they get full on time. You can't just, the Bible says that the path of the just is like a shining light that shines brighter and brighter onto the perfect day. What's that perfect day? That perfect day is the day you and I see Jesus. So it means that you can't just eat and be full. Like mediocrity is actually good enough. And there was something I developed. It's called excellence model. When we're in school, we used to hear this stuff that says good, better, best. I shall never rest until my good is better and my better is best. I used to say that song is for old school. Now, I will never rest until my best becomes good enough again. So what's that excellence model saying? Excellence model saying when you get from good, you move to better. You move from better, you move to best. Translate your best to good again and continue the real. Because our secondary school and primary school song taught us that when we get to best, we should rest. Don't rest. You cannot rest yet. When you get to best, change that best again to good, and you keep revolving around the cycle. And yes, that's it for me. So self-doubt, imposter syndrome, and mediocrity is what inhibits you from achieving the personal excellence. Ask yourself after this message today, or whenever you listen to this recording, anybody, what next in my life? And don't say what next and go and take tom-tom. No, what next and write down. Write down. What next? That's actually how you get to your next level. What next?
Thank you very much, sir. For anybody listening, sincerely write it. What next? What next? Sit down, write it down. I learned from Mr. Adebayo last year, and I can tell you it was life-changing. And it has even led to Become Better series. It's one of the things that led to Become Better series. So I just want to ask more questions. So This is also from someone who is watching. How can one strive for excellence in this present day and time with the many distractions around?
Yeah. So the distractions are everywhere. How can, what is in you is greater than what is outside. Let me give a good example. You are in your office. Let me give you a very good example. You are in the morning. Let's assume that you're in Lagos. You're in Lagos. People are fighting on the road in the morning. People are breaking bottle in one corner. Some people are frying akara in another corner. Some people are taking puff in another corner. And you have to be in the office by 9 o'clock. We used to wait and be looking at those that are frying puff, akara, those that are fighting. Where are you going to? You're going to your office. So that's why when you have the end in mind, in my workspace, I have a vision board. And in that vision board, I see what I want. My major goals for the year is on my vision board. And I see it. Like every morning, I see it. We see ourselves every day. So there's no way on earth I'll be distracted. Think about it. If I have a vision board that I want to buy a biro, and that biro costs 100 naira. now I'm now seeing that someone wants to sell pencil 15 naira, or someone wants to spell crayon 30 naira. I will not buy those things, because what I want is biro that is 100 naira. And that is why the reason why people think they are distracted is that they don't have goals. The moment you have goals and your goals are keeping you up at night, there is no way on earth you'll be distracted. That's what I think.
Thank you very much, sir. So our topic is excellence as a lifestyle. And we know we are in Nigeria. Some of us watching are in Nigeria. So we want to just talk about the Nigerian factor. So you hear a lot of stereotypical comments. Maintenance culture is bad in Nigeria. Nigerians like to cut corners. People do far better when they leave the country than if they will be staying in Nigeria. What can you see concerning this Nigerian factor?
Okay. So Nigerian factor, yes. And guess what? I've always said that systems, structures, policies are aimed on people. So when we say Nigerian factor, what we are actually saying is that what are the Nigerians, like human beings, factor? That's the question. So the problem is that if we have lack of maintenance culture, it means that the people that are our leaders or people that are in the aim of affair are the people that actually lack maintenance culture. So when we say Nigeria lacks maintenance culture, we are talking about you and I technically lack Nigerian culture. And that's a system that has been built over time. But unfortunately, that system has translated into culture. What is culture? The total way of life. Now, we should not allow that system to be with us. Let me give you a good example. My car here, I take my car for maintenance every 3 months. Every single time I take my car to the company for maintenance, they write on my they put a sticker at the right hand of my wheel screen that this is the next appointment day. So they put the date or they put the mileage. So sometimes the mileage is always earlier than the date. So there was a time that my wife asked me, oh, why is my car showing minus this, or why is there showing requirement? I'm like, oh, because even though the maintenance date is not due, but I've taken the car over this particular mileage, so I need to take the car back for maintenance. And let's apply that to our personal life. You see, you cannot stay for 6 months, 3 months without improving yourself. And I'm saying that with every form of authority I can say that with. You have to do something. You might not do everything in all the ways of life, but in the last 3 months, if there's nothing different that you are doing than now, there's something wrong. This year alone, my wife like Adebayo again. So I'm part of the officials for PMI Ontario. So it's a volunteer role, but I'm in charge of the career and planning day for the whole Lakeshore region as far as PMI is concerned. Now, what's the end of that? Yes, I want to contribute to PMI, but it's more about myself. Because if my personal vision is to be globally relevant, then I have to move into global organizations. And one of the global organizations is PMI. So that's it. So maintenance culture is not Nigeria, it's Nigerians. So for you to be that different person, because if you have that mindset, whether you go to Canada, Australia, US, Russia, and you don't change that mindset, wherever you go to, you go there with that lack of maintenance culture as well. So you need to understand that the lack of maintenance culture is a mindset. And if you want to change it, you have to change yourself first. How much are you maintaining yourself? If you can answer that question, then you've gotten the update. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So even when we're living in Nigeria, for example, you have to still plan your life to live a life of excellence. So you're not supposed to be bothered, oh, there's no stability in Nigeria, we don't have the basic necessities. You must have your own structure in place to guide yourself to a life of excellence. And just to go back to consistency, how do you manage to consistently deliver top-notch, high-quality results? You've mentioned some things, you've mentioned them, but there's a question here that says, how do you coordinate different goals that require different levels of attention? You are running PMI Hub, you are with the Success Within International. How do you manage to do this consistently to deliver top-notch, high-quality results?
Okay, good. Structure. So for example, I built a social enterprise called Success Within International. Our vision is raising people understanding software for global relevance. In the first 3-5 years of the organization, my wife and I and a team member, we did excellently. We laid the foundation, we put the structure, we put the system. But like I tell you, as we speak now, Success International runs entirely. We have different offices and we have different people that handle different portfolios. That I'm just there as a guardian. And I've built that system over time. PMP Up, for example, when we started, I was the only trainer on PMP Up. Now in PMP Up, we have another trainer. We have an administrative lead that manage entire communication, settle of questions, everything. So I try to put structures in place. And, when you get to a certain level, you ask yourself that. And again, sometimes you don't really need to multitask if you cannot multitask. There were sometimes that I couldn't multitask because I could not do certain things as well. I'll give you a good example. When I was in Covenant University, I was in 2 service units. I was an ESCO in 2 service units. So my life has been like this since Covenant University days. I was the chaplain of War Study Unit, chaplain of Drama Group, CUTG. I was the welfare coordinator of Bible Study Unit, War Study. And what did I do? I built a structure. So in CUTG, that's the Drama Group, I have like a chaplaincy team. So when I'm there to teach the word or to pray, I have team members that are handling it. Of course, when I'm there, I'm there. And again, in welfare, we have welfare units. We have welfare in that. Even I was welfare coordinator, I had a unit of people that were working with me. So build structure. And there's some things that you cannot build structure on based on, like professor, for example, that I just got. I cannot tell someone to go and teach for me. I have to go to class and teach. So type of things are, so yeah, build structures and adequate planning. See, nothing is impossible. Napoleon Hill says that impossibility is in the dictionary of the fool. But even Luke said in Luke 1:27 that with men things are impossible, not with God. And guess what? A man that is with God, he can do things that are even seemingly impossible. So yes, I think with planning and structure, you can do the right thing. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. So I just want to add some questions I saw again before we move on. Okay. So they said, how do you ensure that you are not overwhelming yourself under the guise of giving your best? Do you ever get scared of dropping the ball?
I don't think I ever get scared of dropping the ball. The only thing sometimes that I feel overwhelmed. So, and when I'm overwhelmed, I try to take adequate rest. I try to enjoy myself as well. Yes. So I don't think so. I think I have the right structure to keep me in check.
Thank you very much, sir. Another question from a viewer who sent it before we started. The person said, I find that I struggle with consistency. For example, I might set a goal to improve in terms of my attitude to work. I try to keep to my goal for a little while, but eventually my plans fall through after some days. How do I stay consistent to achieve my objectives? You've told us about structure. For this person, how can they begin?
How can they begin? So can you take that question again, please?
I find that I struggle with consistency. Okay. For example, I might set a goal. That means this person has tried to improve. So I might set a goal to improve in terms of my attitude to work. I try to keep my goal for a little while, but eventually my plans fall through after some days. Yes. How do I stay consistent to achieve my objectives?
Okay, good. Very, very good question. And the reason why your plans fall short, it might be because of you, it might not be because of you. I'm going to give you 2 answers so as able to mitigate those 2 questions. The first one is that sometimes I taught something about goal setting planning. A lot of times our plans are relatively not SMART. I know we all know what the SMART acronym stands for: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Sometimes our goals are not realistic. Sometimes our goals are not even attainable. So it might be that maybe the way you've planned, your plans are a bit ambitious. It's fine for you to be earning 1 million per month, and you are saying that at the end of the day you want to save 30 million. How come? Even if you save everything you've earned, you only save 12 million in a year. So it might be your goals. Go back and look at your goal. That's one. Your plans, maybe your plans are too stretchy, they are not attainable. And number 2, maybe you have not built enough contingencies. I've said that you have to add contingencies for your planning. It's so critical. You have to have contingencies for your planning. It helps you do a lot of things better, because when you have, say for example, the reason why I can go to bed well is that, let me give you a good example. I had a tracker at the beginning of this year, even though I stopped following through because it was a bit difficult for me. Obviously, my tracker said was like a daily tracker, and I said that in a month that I want to do something. The month has 30 days. I want to do something 25 days out of 30 days. Now I gave myself 5 days that even though I don't do that thing for 5 days out of the 30 days, I'm still fine. Like, I'm still fine. That's an example of contingency. So that's one. So it might be that your planning is too ambiguous, or it's too thick, or like there's no contingency. That's one. Number 2, it might be that you have planned excellently well, But the reason why you are not getting what you're getting are these external situations. And, I don't want to go a bit complex, but just permit me to say this. A lot of times when we plan, we only plan from our own angle. We don't plan with external factors. I'll give you two things. Even in financial numbers, there are two things that are very important. There's the pestle model and there's the SWOT analysis. So SWOT analysis is that a lot of time we consider our strengths and our weakness in planning, but we don't really think about the opportunities out there. What are opportunities? Opportunities are the external things that you can use to your advantage. And the other things are threats. So let me give you a good example. You plan that you want to save so much money, blah, 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 and you forgot that Naira is falling like a mango tree. And you have not really put in the contingency of inflation in your numbers. So even though you have done everything good from yourself, but in terms of you have not really considered the OT in the SWOT analysis, which are external to you, it can affect your planning. The second thing is pestle model. A pestle model, what are the political infrastructure? What are the economic infrastructure? What's the social thing? What's the technology thing as well? What's the environmental? What's the legal situation? So those are the two reasons why you might not really get what you need to plan. And again, go back to your planning room and try to look at those things that you did not do well, adjust them and go back again. Of course, don't do the same thing over again. Change something, then launch out again.
Thank you so much, sir. For our viewers, please, we would just like to apologize. We will not be able to end by 7 p.m. West African time. We've been getting so much information from today's episode, and so we'll most likely extend it a little bit. Please just bear with us and just stay, because our guest speaker today is on fire. So the next question goes, sir. How do you thrive in excellence when the people around you, your teammates or your co-workers at work, practice mediocrity?
Okay. All right. You don't have control over your co-workers. That's the first thing you need to do. So if your co-workers practice mediocrity, you don't have control over what they do. Just tailor the right approach. And but if you are someone on this call that you have people that report to you, don't ever encourage mediocrity. So when people practice mediocrity, try to correct it. Give them what they can do better and better and better. With that, it's a lot easier for them to it's a lot easier for them to emulate what you are doing. So yes, don't focus on if co-workers that you have no control over what they do, just emulate the right thing. And every single time you are ready to impact someone, impact them with words and impact them with your actions as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Some people say your work will speak for itself, and some say your work will not speak for itself. You have to blow your own trumpet for you to be known that you can deliver. Now, what school of thought do you belong to and why?
So you don't need to be known. John C. Maxwell, this least level of leadership is positional leadership. You don't need to be known to live a life of influence. Do the right thing. Somebody will fish you out. Let me give you a good example. I'm sure a lot of people know Apostle Joshua Selman. When I was in the UK in 2014, I started listening to Apostle Selman. And when I was listening to Apostle Selman, if you see his office, his church, it was audio. There was no capacity for video recording. It was audio we used to listen to. In Zaira, very small place. But look at what has happened to him. Consistency. That you can say, oh, that's a pastor. Look at Yemi Oshibajo. When he started his career as well, and a lot of people like that. Be consistent. You see, a lot of us are thinking about people are watching us. Yes, people are watching you from afar, but people don't really care about you. I'm sorry. People don't really care about you. Do the right thing every time. And when there's an opportunity for you to influence someone watch. So forget about positional leadership. Just do your thing. There was a time that I was just doing my thing and somebody saw me, fished me out, and that was it. So just do the right thing and sell yourself. I'm not saying don't sell yourself. So some of you, let's say some of you like writing, you like post what you do online. But I'm careful to say this because a lot of times, someone said to me that Bayo, I feel like your reach out is lower than the kind of impact you give out. I'm like, yes, I know. When that time is come, when that time comes, the explosion will happen. And how do I know? Henry Ford taught me. Henry Ford said, when preparation meets opportunity, success is inevitable. So just keep preparing. And when the opportunity comes, that explosion will happen. So my advice is, forget about reaching out. Do your thing. Do your thing every single time you can. And then when the opportunity arises, you would be able to launch out big.
Thank you very much, sir. So when preparation meets opportunity, success is inevitable. Yeah. The person just asked one more question. You've mentioned it, you've spoken about consistency and all. Okay. But the person added something different. That's why we'll ask it. How do you become known as someone who time and again delivers the very best in terms of products, services, and character without going about it in your face type of way? That's probably being proud. How do you handle it?
So can you take that question again?
How do you become known as someone who time and again delivers the very best in terms of product, services, and character without going about it, trying to put it in people's faces?
Okay. So is it going in like a positive direction or a negative direction? I want to be sure I understand that question well.
I would say the person is trying to say, how do you deliver the best? People don't look at you like you are being proud. How do you do it?
Okay, I understand that question now. We are focused so much on people. Let me tell you the truth. When Bishop Oyedepo was celebrating his 50 years old birthday, they asked him that, what's the best asset in life? He said, people. So what's the worst asset in life? He said, people. People don't care about you. You know, Fela also said, I pay debt to the accolades of men. So just do your thing. Leave people, do your thing. Because it's first of all personal excellence before you become people's excellence. So it's personal, just do your thing. Whether you do well, people will say you are proud. Whether you don't do well, they'll say you are proud. Do your thing. Just do your thing. Okay?
Thank you so much. Do your thing. And the questions are many, but we'll soon round up. But this question goes, I'm an introvert, but I understand the importance of putting yourself out there to get what you want. Okay. For example, networking. How can I overcome this? You've mentioned it earlier, of putting yourself on social media. Apart from social media, is there any other thing you can recommend?
Yeah, and apart from social media, you can have a podcast if you are in that kind of person. I have a podcast as well. You can write on LinkedIn, on Instagram. You can write books, like whatever can make you reach out to more people. Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. With the increase in mental health issues,
yes,
how can I have a balanced approach to excellence, yet maintain my mental health? Secondly, how can I have a work-life balance and be excellent? That is not being too hard on yourself, or hold balance in this aspect means not being too hard on yourself and holding yourself up to a high standard. So how can I have a work-life balance and be excellent?
So I think I have a good work-life balance. I'll give you a very good example for me. So on Sundays, I try to avoid meetings. Of course, this week I have one invitation, so I have to. Weekends, Sundays, I don't. Saturdays are very busy for me. I like my busiest days. Every single thing I do Monday to Friday, once it's 5 o'clock and my son gets back, is my time for my son and my wife. So I work during the day till 5:30. Once it's 5:30, you will see me with my family. Or I'm playing game. I like playing FIFA, PS5. So it's either I'm playing game or my family watching movie or discussing. I do that a lot and I rest. Saturdays are really thick for meetings for me, but Sundays I rest. So and I think I'm good. And every year I used to I go on vacation as well. December, try to go on vacation with my family, and we live a good life. Weekends, sometimes we plan at least once a month. During summer in Canada, we have to go for picnic, we go bowling, we go do one or two things. So yes, I think I'm pretty good at that. You can do that, planning. And that's why I said to you that the wheels of life, plan social. What do you want to do this year differently as well? I play ball as well. I play badminton, I swim. Like we have done a lot of things already during this summer. So yes, you can live an excellent life and be balanced. And guess what? If you work so hard and you don't rest, nobody remember that you died because you did not rest though. So you need to factor rest in your part of life. Very important.
Thank you very much, sir. How do you practically incorporate excellence every day in the way you look?
In the way I look, it starts with my dressing. My wife, Oyedepo, used to say that you do have a second chance for your first impression. And my wife and I are very good on that, the way we look externally, like dressing. And it starts with that. Before you open your mouth, you already judge 80% by how you look. So, people do things shabbily. So the way you dress is very important. It's very important. Your social media just anywhere. Like when people need to open your social media, they can say, this person is wise. I'm not even saying the person is wise. Like, let everything you do, let people see your presence without even seeing your face and know that this person is excellent. So you start with that. The external things, and of course the internal things as well. Pay attention to your dressing. Pay attention to when you even speak. Pay attention to your social media page. Don't be there fighting anyhow already. I love Arsenal so much and I see a lot of Arsenal bands, but I try to avoid it because I don't want someone to go online I love Arsenal. I don't think as the first thing I've seen that when I'm fighting with the chess and say that you're not serious. No, I don't want that. So yeah, I can do that when I'm with my friends that we are banting, but not external. It's very important. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. It's very understandable because you're an Arsenal fan. I'm an ex-Arsenal fan. So how do you measure or define excellence in your marriage or in your family? How do you define excellence?
So excellence in my marriage, for me, I think my wife and I will be doing a lot of talking, basically, and we do that a lot. We do assessments. So how have we been? What do you think? And I think I started that at the beginning of this call that just like last 2 months, we started. Normally, we should have a date night like every week or every 2 weeks, but because of my son, wanted to just be both of us. So we turned it to a lunch date. So every Thursday, actually before joining this session, we just came out from a lunch date. So every Thursday, we try to take ourselves for lunch, have conversations together, we eat. So what do you think we can do better? And so we do assessment. And also randomly we take marriage courses. Like we're currently in one now. It's called Because Marriage Works. So it's a 2-month marriage conversation just to get better in our marriage as well. So yes, and I've always said to people that marriage is the toughest institution on earth, and it's what you put into it that you get out. Don't be that kind of person that you're not really paying attention to it, because when it has to do with you're managing yourself, you're managing an external person. So it's something that you really need to pay attention to. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So that's
and guess what? Sorry,
nice.
And one more thing to talk about it. In marriage, it cannot always be about winning. So sometimes you have to lose to win, actually. All right.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Would you say your family background has played a role in shaping the man you are today?
Yes, my dad has played a massive role, especially my dad. My dad is an excellent person. So yes, my dad has played a major role in the person I am today, my dad. And the kind of wife I also married, the kind of wife I married is a woman that's very, very honest. Integrity is top notch. So, and she also puts me in check a lot of times. So yes, my dad, amazing. My dad propelled the excellence culture in me. And the second thing is that I have a wife that holds me accountable. So yes, I think those two things are very important for me.
Thank you, sir. How are you working to pass on these values to your children after you?
I'm passing on these values to my child already, and very critical. So I was reading something that 0 to 5, you teach your children. 6 to 10, you train them. 11 to 15, you coach them, and when they become teenagers, then you are their friend. So now we are doing a lot of teaching, and thanks to my wife, we do a lot of talking to my son, trying to tell him this is the right thing. We expose him, even in church. I attend the children's class. We buy him books. He read books. He solves puzzles and other things that can increase his brain power. So like we expose a lot of things, even sport activities. Take him swimming. He goes playing ball. Like we are trying to balance it for him as well. Yeah. But at this point, my son will be 4 in November, so we can only teach him now. We can't really do the training. So yes, we are trying to expose him to as many valuable things as possible. Every morning, sometimes he wakes up and say, "Daddy, we have not prayed." So like, if you want to say, "Later, let's go have a Bible," I say, "No, we have not prayed." So he has invited that every morning we pray in this house. So he knows that, as basic as that, he knows that already.
Thank you very much. We are going to learn from you. We're also going to teach our children that same style. And in our closing thoughts, what advice will you give yourself, your younger self, about 12 years ago? If you were to go back, that's 2011, what advice would you give yourself?
If I'm to give advice myself 20 years ago, is to start early. So I felt that I didn't really start doing a lot till I entered Covenant University. And I was 18 when I entered Covenant University. So sometimes, especially a lot of people that have the opportunity now, you can hear some things that might not take action until later time. Of course, it's not too late, but if I'm to start all over again, I'll start earlier than I started, for me.
Thank you, sir. Do you have ideas, action points, or book recommendations that you can give to us or you can share here?
Okay, recommendation. Yes, I have one. Not that I'm selling my book, but I will. I just released the book. It's called Living Excellently, an amazing book, very amazing. And you can buy ebook or you can order your hard copy on Amazon. And so yes, that is what I want to tell you. So it helps you. Everything I've said now, you see it in different formats. You see how to be excellent in communication, in terms of how to get ahead of failure, how to make marriage work, how to manage your time, how to manage your finance, manage your career, like how to be resilient in every aspect of your life. It's an amazing book. It's actually a 120-day series, powerful book. So if you read that and you practice what has been taught for 120 days, I'm very sure that you live a better life in every aspect of your life.
Thank you. Please, I want to mention this to anyone watching. We met Mr. Adebayo Ajayi to meet him to discuss on this topic, excellence as a lifestyle, before he released this book. We know him as a man of excellence. And so him releasing a book called Living Excellently, I can guarantee it is extremely, extremely good, because he has been an example, a perfect example. So you can go on Amazon, type Living Excellently by Adebayo Ajayi and look for it. I guarantee it will be a life-changing book. I did a course with him last year, and he has transformed my life. And we know we'll bring him back to an episode of Become Better series very soon. And thank you all for watching. We appreciate you. It's not easy to just join online and stream. Thank you for watching, and have a fantastic night. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Adebayo Ajayi.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate this. Thank you, everyone. I wish you the very best in life. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, sir.